Hey, Lucas.
Hi, Maureen.
Are we the only ones here?
Believe we are.
I kind of messed up my. I was in and then I was gone. I think there was someone else here a minute ago. How are you? Congratulations.
Doing well. Thank you very much, and thank you so much for the awesome gift.
Cool.
I that arrived today. The electric screwdriver arrived, and I was like, "This is really cool. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this. That whole tool." And then the electric printer arrived, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" And now I know my first thing I'm gonna use that electric screwdriver on.
Right. Well, I hope you have fun putting it together. Those Ender 3s are kind of like a good. I don't know. I had fun putting mine together. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. They look like they're gonna be a super cool thing. It looks like it's gonna be super cool to put together, and then also, my friends and I have been playing a lot of D&D recently,
Oh yeah.
and so I was like, oh, I can print a miniature of my character. That's a cool start. That's a cool first little thing.
People print whole boards uh, and worlds and stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be super cool. It's honestly, I really, really appreciate it. That's such a cool gift.
Oh, well, I hope you have fun. I'll send you a link. There's lots of videos online where people put them together, and then once they get them together, they do their own modifications to make them. They 3D print things to make them better. So.
Oh yeah, that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, that's so cool. I've for years been watching like 3D printing videos of people with 3D printers, and I'm like, I was sitting there, I was like, these are so cool. I used to tell my dad, I'd be like, what we should do, um, is we should get a 3D printer, and he'd be like, no, we don't need one. He'd be like, oh, we don't. What will we use it for? And I'd be like, I don't know. What a 3D printer? We're using it for everything.
Nobody needs it.
But yeah, exactly. But now, I'm just so instead I went on and I watched a bunch of videos on people 3D printing different masks or game pieces, or the one guy printed his own Settlers of Catan board.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that's so cool. And now I can do all that myself.
Oh, Chris Good's here. Hey, Chris. You're muted. Ow, I'm muted.
Of course, it's Zoom. That's how Zoom works. I got you. Send it to Zoom.
There's no Decatur maker amongst us. Like, you know how there's usually are you the blank Decatur maker?
I think I can log in as a Decatur maker. Hang on. Well, there is a way to do this.
Oh well, I might want to.
Are you having trouble sharing stuff?
Let me see if I can. Host disabled.
Might not have permission.
Me neither. Host disabled. Screen sharing.
No, I can fix that, I think. Here, I'm gonna make you the host. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm ready for the challenge. The burden of hosting.
Here we go. Watch this. Hey man, watch this. Was the last thing he said.
Yeah, hold my Chris Good is the host now.
That's right, baby. Now I'm the host. So I think what I can do now is say, you're the host. And now you should be able to share anything you want. You have the power.
I could share.
Use it wisely. Use it wisely.
All right, I'm sharing.
And Lucas is here.
Lucas is my nephew, Luke Haley.
Luke, welcome. I can't see you or hear you.
Thank you.
But
Yeah.
oh, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I had it muted for just a moment. But yeah, my Aunt Maureen sent me the invite link.
2
This
seconds.
is very cool. Yeah.
I love
He,
it.
he left me a voicemail, and I was like, well, I'm going to be on Zoom here in a couple minutes. We're going to be building
Build your own robot.
an Otto. Can you see Otto? Am I sharing?
Mm-hmm.
That's my emotional level, about 8 years old. And this is at autodiy.com. Otto is an open source robot, which means all the information, all the schematics, all the 3D files, and everything is available online, or you can buy their kit when they package it all together. They also have different kits. So we're going to be doing the basic, simple starter kit, but they have one that has arms. They have one that has Bluetooth, one that has a little LCD screen. You can make his mouth do things. And then they also have guides for all of them.
Was that a laser cut one? I'm liking that.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to get that out. I just have too many things going on. I did laser cut one, but I haven't put it together. They keep changing the files a little bit. So they have, oh yeah, here we go. And they also have, let me go down here, this code, Blocky. They made this little program because he runs off of an Arduino programming board. So you can program him with Arduino, and they did have an extension you could download because they use a breakout board. But now they made this code, Blocky, although I think I saw something where it's not on Mac yet, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But you can go and download it, and I'll show you Blocky for free. And they also have, if you get the Bluetooth kit, they have a Bluetooth app. You can control them with Bluetooth. So
nice.
We made these for our Girls Who Code class because we were doing coding, but in between we would do other projects, and we asked them what part they liked the best, and they said the other project, the makery project. So we thought, well, we'd build little robots, and then they could do coding with them. But COVID came along, and we didn't really do that much. We didn't really get them finished. So we'll do them together. And I have also set up my, let's see if I've done it. What is that? That is my.
Oh my God.
That is super slick. This is my work surface.
That's the coolest thing I've seen all day.
It's an app, Droid Cam, and let me move some things around.
It's a what cam?
It's an app on my phone called Droid Cam, and then you have a client on your on your desktop, and I actually got the paid version so I can zoom in and out and change and stuff. So, and it's set up on a tripod. Over my little workspace here. So the picture looks a little odd, but we'll see how we go. So to make Otto, you can order the kit. When we did them, someone broke one of the legs, and so we stole one of the feet. We took one from the kit. I 3D printed a new one, and it was a slightly different thing. So I ended up 3D printing a whole new Otto, and so that's what we're doing. We're doing a Falcons Otto tonight, red and black. So
oh yeah, go birds.
3D print. I don't know if it. Here is the base, and here is the top, and they kind of go together like this, right? And then the ultrasound, the distance monitor go there, and then there's two legs and 2 feet. So we'll get together. I probably should have done my thing on a separate. Oh well, we're moving along here. We're doing super well. So when you get started, and like I said, I'm like now I've become those people, one of those people who have too much stuff going on. But I'm looking for the manual, and then I'm gonna bring it up and then share it. You can download their manuals online. Can you see that? And we're doing the builder kit, and they start by telling you the components, and you can get all these online. So he takes the 3D printed parts, an ultrasound thing, 4 servos, and these are 180-degree servos, not completely rotational. Then it uses an Arduino Nano and this breakout board, so you can plug all the servos and everything into it. And then when you get a kit, they also give you a battery pack and an on-off switch and the programming cable to program the microcontroller. And that's it. It's pretty basic. So the directions after that are a challenge. So they could be done. This just shows what he can do. He can go forward and recognize distance. He can dance, and you can program him with the computer. Then they start to build him, and honestly, it gets kind of challenging. So I thought I would just do it. This picture talks about putting these servos in the space here at the base. These will be the 2 that control the legs. And then the next one, they tell you in the little servo, when you order the little servo, the motor, it comes with some little plastic pieces that hook to it called horns. They call those horns. And then it comes with screws. Some of them are sharp, and then one of them is flat. And to screw it into the base, you use the sharp one. And then they have you screw it down in. So let me stop sharing and go back here. And here's my little kit. I'm sorry, I thought I was going to be super organized, but that didn't happen. And anyway, you do want to use a little screwdriver. And here's the base. And what I found when I 3D printed my own was that my 3D print, they fit very nicely in here, very snugly, but my 3D printer didn't make all the holes exactly round. So I actually used a file, and the first time we did it, I didn't do that. I thought it was good enough, but you really kind of want, it only fits one way in here. You really kind of want the servo to fit down in there so that the little blue part pops out a little bit. And I had to file these little openings a little bit because my printer is, it could make perfect circles if I tweaked it, but apparently when I did this, it wasn't making perfect circles. So there's one on each leg, and they should kind of pop in there. And then the print has 2 holes on either side, and so you take the sharp and not the dull screws and screw them in there. And I will, let's see how to optimally show the boringness of someone screwing in a servo. Let me do this. What?
Zoom.
Let's see.
You're zooming on Zoom.
You take the screws that are pointy, and again, this screwdriver, unfortunately, I think, and I do have, but I don't think it's this one. A magnetized one would be really good for this sort of stuff. Oh, Lucas has a fantastic screwdriver kit that he got. He's got a little motorized one he got for graduation.
Whoa.
Courtesy of one Maureen. One
Nice.
Aunt Maureen.
Yes. I saw it on, Donald Bell does this Maker Project Lab thing, and then he does the Cool Tools Lab. Oh, and he, I saw that and I was like, oh, I want one. And I was like, no. You do not need an electric screwdriver with all the attachments. Like, but Luke needs one. He needs one.
Luke, what did you graduate from?
Oh,
I graduated from West Virginia University in public relations.
Oh, congratulations! That's huge.
Thanks.
That's fantastic. Well done. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited about it.
And where are you headed? What are your prospects?
Well, that's the plan right now, right? What are the prospects? I need to figure those out, unfortunately, but we're getting there.
All right. Good luck.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Luke he wants to do like event planning for online gaming, I think.
Awesome.
Fourth hand through my.
Somewhat of a gamer myself.
I was thinking he started like a Smash team at their university.
Oh man, I suck at Smash so bad. And these kids these days, no offense, Luke, but just it's embarrassing. It really is.
It's very. I'll be honest. I am not that good myself. I'm decent enough for like collegiate level, but I got ranked in the northern section of our state, and for one season I was ranked in the state. But
all right, clearly out of my league.
It's a little. It's hard. There are so many people that are just so much better than me. And
well, that's the thing. You get good, and then you're going to find better and better people, and there's always somebody better.
Oh, forever. And so I want to go into esports and usually probably do something more behind the scenes, something more like event coordination, or team liaisons or something along that line.
Huge feature in that. Are they secure?
They are. They're secured in there.
Servos are secure.
Yeah, and I'm moving on to back to the directions here. And they talk about cutting these little servo horns. Oh, did we skip something? No, they went right to the feet, or the legs. Oh, because this is the top of the legs. All right. So in the little, I'll show you in the little servo packet, there's always one that has like a cross. There's one that has just one up here, and then there's one that has I'll show you the three horns that typically come with the servo. And the legs are printed so they're little grooves in the base, so that when you cut these off, they snap right in there just right. Then we hook them on there, but we'll come back up here to this part. It's me again. I'll go back to my, let's see.
Cam 2, Cam 3.
Fancy.
So cool. Oh.
We'll see. And so what they want you to do is, so far we needed a screwdriver, and also in this case we need a pair of scissors. And in the picture you can count, but at one end, here we go. Here's the horn. Here's the cross horn. Here's the single horn. We will use that one. And then there's this one that just has the front and back horn. I don't think we use that one. And usually these three come in a servo kit. So in this one, they want you to trim one end of it at the second little hole.
That instrument there looks like you could, I don't know, get some bandages off.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Cuts pennies.
Oh,
On this side you leave.
cut somebody out of a cast with that thing.
That's right. You cut a lot of stuff. So you cut that one off. Oh, there it goes. And it told you at one end where to put it. And then if you take the leg the base of the leg, you look down in there, it has a little indentation of that cross down in there. Now, I think to keep it simple, but I would highly recommend hot gluing this in because you really want that to stay in there. And if it doesn't stay in there, the foot won't move right. The servo will not control the. And I had this all, but I used a different. You really want to snap in there. So part way is not good enough. And I spent some time with these, trimming them up, but now it's giving me a hard time. So I'll try not to swear about it, but you really, maybe it needs to be shorter there. I'll just give that another little snip.
Luke, good to meet you. Have fun. Look me up on Steam. I play under the name Hertz Donut.
Hertz Donut?
Hertz Donut.
Oh.
It's just you and me.
Oh, Luke, did he slip away?
He chatted that he needed to make some plans, but I am locked in and enjoying this.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
I'm digging it.
Oh,
so you're just snapping this into grooves that were 3D printed, but
correct.
You recommend hot gluing it in place as well?
Yeah, I do. And I actually worked with this a little bit because, again, my circle was not perfect. And it really needs to fit in there snugly. And I had it. Oh no, I practiced this already, and they fit in there. So I worked on the circles at the bottom because you really want it to fit right.
Mm.
And the hot glue helps if you too enthusiastically work on the circle. I don't know why it's not there. See, so now, it's really in there and it protrudes right down to the base. And the reason is you want to snap it on here and it has to have a little bit of leeway to turn. Let's see, I'll cut another one if I can find another one. And then this one will work better on that other leg.
Is there another adhesive besides hot glue that you might recommend for bonding plastic to 3D printed plastic?
So I find that super glue or crazy glue works pretty well. But a lot of people, there's an epoxy, and I forget which one it is that they use for this is PLA plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what kind of bond you need, like how secure you need. So probably, this, you just kind of want to make sure it doesn't budge. Oh, there, see, so that's really snapped in there.
Yeah, I heard it.
Fall out, and when the servo moves, it's gonna catch, it's gonna move this leg. So good, that went well. A little pre-work helped a little bit there. So now I'm going to pivot ever so slightly to servos because this is their directions, and what they say in their directions are to put the servos, and this is like non-directions, but basically when you put the legs on, exclamation point. You don't want them to turn in this arc. You want them on so that they turn in this way. So it's it's kind of subtle.
Oh, wait a minute.
Right? And there are no words. There are no words, and you're like, well, maybe they explain the next thing. No, they go on to glue it in. So the thing is, let's see, I'll stop sharing. Here's the piece at the base. We put them on, and it gives you, and I'm looking at the directions, even though I'm not sharing it. So this is the back with this little knot. There's a little hole in here. So that's the back. And at the back, you want the notch here. So you want it to go on here. But the point is, you want the leg to be able to move in this arc. So here's that should be at 90, 0, and 180, and that way it turns in and out that way. And the same with this one. The notch goes at the back towards the hole, towards the holes. The notch goes on there. So, and it says, you know, make sure that this is the 90 arc, but there's no way to know that. I mean, because if you roll it, it turns all and it doesn't stop. So they even have a special wiki page, and they tell you to align them, but they don't really tell you how. So there are a couple ways to do that. The easiest way for me, because I have one, is this servo. It's a little servo thing, and I'm gonna take my leg off. Take my leg off, and connect my. I know. And I played with this afternoon too, so I broke the connection of the ground. Let's see if it'll behave anyway. I did a little. Where's my cable? Let's see if it'll work. Hold my mouth just right. There we go. So here's my thing. I put a little fake horn on him. Just for purposes of that. Now I can turn my servo this way and turn it that way. And I would say I could probably do it like this, right? It doesn't look exactly right in the picture though, but that's the angle. You want to try and get it on there at 90 degrees, and then so he's sweeping. But in fact, the picture has it opposite. We want him to sweep that way. I'll tell you. So we want him to sweep this way. Seems like it could go like that. Now, the other ways to do it is you can go ahead and hook your Arduino together, hook your servo to the Arduino, and run the sweep file from the Arduino IDE, or you can run their calibrate. There's a little servo program in Blocky. So that's what we want, and that's 90 degrees there. So we put this on like that, and we practice it. Yeah, we don't have them connected right, but we're working on it. Well, we're gonna screw that down, but it's kind of.
Oh yeah.
Kind
now
of.
That figure makes more sense.
Yeah. It could be a little bit more like that, I think. Oh.
It sounds like this step is kind of important, that you get a nice
important
180 that's what would one say, perpendicular to the front to back axis of the entire bot.
Yeah, and something that is also important that I apparently forgot is how important the magnetized screwdriver is. So I'm going to how helpful that is. But let's see if I can if I can sally forth without it, and we'll see if I don't have to get up and leave and go find out where mine is.
You know what? If are those cool speakers that you made in the space in the room with you?
They are. Do they have a screwdriver in them?
They've got a magnet in them. If you can get inside and just touch the tip of your screwdriver to it, it'll be magnetized.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Or any other magnet that you might.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I'm sure there's one here.
I knew you had speakers in there. So. Of course, you'd have to unscrew the jack plate on the back with your screwdriver.
And my screwdriver case. And my iFixit case. Sorry this is taking a while. I knew this was going to be slow. All right, look here. Here's some magnets.
Yes. That's all you need to do.
I'll try to not put it near anything too important. Ha!
Did it work? Oh, baby.
Oh, man. That was worth the price of admission. All right. So, this is just where it would be nice to have a little glue to hold that horn against there. No, it's not essential, but it could be helpful. All right. Trying this one too. There's some curfew notification on my screen. Let me get that off of there.
Was it time?
I didn't read it. I'll have to check it later. So see, that's off by about 9 degrees. So we would want it, well, actually, don't need that now. This goes to the back. This one goes that, well, it will go when I screw it down. And then, yeah, that's pretty good. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want it kind of, and again, in the picture they have that this is the blunt screw for the horn that's in the little servo pack.
Not the pointy one.
Right, the pointy, sharp ones hold the servos to the body, and then this one holds the screw. All right. So.
Now, can I ask about the LED readout on your servo controller? I didn't see it light up. Was that telling you degrees?
It tells you, no, it tells you the voltage. It says 4.9.
Oh.
I've got a 5-volt thing plugged into it.
Cool beans.
This has got to be the cheapest one on Amazon. So I don't remember when I got it, but that is basically my MO. All right. Whew. All right, I'm going to share some more screen. Here we go. We're making progress. So here we are. Look at that. The little legs are on. What's next? Step 5. Oh, we already did it. We're so far ahead. How many steps can there be? So this one, you screw the little servos on. Step 6, we modify this horn. And this also is tricky. But again, they want it to be, it's a certain orientation, so the foot moves in a certain orientation, and it's not this one. All right, so you gotta be careful. You don't want it to go like that. I guess you want it to go another way. Maybe 800, maybe they didn't really tell you. I would say they don't really say. But whatever it is, not this one. Or maybe it is that one.
Yeah, that's not, that line through it isn't saying don't do what Donnie does.
I think this is the orientation.
I think so.
All right.
Well, it's an exclamation point right there.
All right, so we're gonna take this one, cut it off at the second hole, and then put it on the servo and try and line it up so it's aimed, the intact point is aimed towards the long end of this servo bit.
The Rhodeses just joined us. Welcome, people.
Hey, how's it going? We're putting together a robot, and I was just going over the directions while what we're going to be doing next is putting the servo on the foot. And my plan will be, stop sharing. I'm going back to my camera. All right. It was the horn. It was the horn with the two. Have you guys seen the Otto before?
Yes.
You have their website is autodiy.com. They also have a thing on a place, Wiki Factory, where they put all their 3D files and all their modifications, and there's a forum for questions and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing the foot servo now, and then wants to cut this off at the second little hole. And that's just so it fits on the foot. And this one also. Cut. And then grab another servo. And so I'm using, so we talked a little bit about different ways to set the position of your servos, because it's kind of important. You can do it with a little Arduino sketch and plug your little servo into the microcontroller. I'm using this little servo controller thing. And you plug it in, and you can turn it, sweep it from side to side. Let's see if I can get it all plugged in. I messed with the ground, and it makes the top move. And so if we take this little thing, they want it to sweep like this. That's just from the directions. They want to sweep with this, let's give you an angle. This end up, and the pointy end, that should be at 90, and it should sweep from here to here, which is in their picture. Off. There's the smidge. And it doesn't matter a lot, but if it moves a little bit once you're using it, then you started with it off a little. So that's one of them. And then, although we'll probably have to we might end up taking off, but anyway, we can always redo that. And then the last servo is located where, I don't know if this is it. All right, this one. Plug him in. And I'm just looking for the other horn that I cut. Oh, I was using him as a sample. Okay. So here's the end that's up. Pointy end. Pretty good. Probably good enough to move on. All right. So then you take the feet. One of them. There's the other one. It's a little tricky because there is a left and a right to these feet in some way. So if I go back to my screen sharing. Here we are, and so here's what we did. We lined this servo up like that, Step 7. Now we take it, we slide it into the part with the foot, one with the foot aiming out. So we'll do that, and then after we do that, we put these screw through the horn, the flat one, and the sharp one we try to hook this down here. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. All right. I do have the picture still up on my thing, as you know. So we take it like this, and the foot with the two. Now the foot has 2 little holes here. Oh, actually symmetric on both sides. Now that I'm looking at it, foot is the inside and that are the same. So they want you to put this in here like this. Let's see if it'll go. I'm sure it'll go. It'll go. It went yesterday. This might be one of those things I should have. Oh no, there it goes. So you put it in there, and then you find a flat screw. So I open all my little servo things randomly. I'm challenged. So to do the horn on, use the flat screw. Put it through there. Snug it on there. And there's another little hole right here that you want, and you want to be careful that it catches. I'm looking at the picture. Reverse. There's that hole go. That's not going to catch anything. I don't really see where. Oh, okay. No, I don't really see what that's supposed to catch. Oh, it catches one of the holes on the horn. Okay. Sorry. I've done this before, believe it or not. I thought it caught the body of the servo, but it doesn't. It catches one of the holes on that horn and helps hold that to the foot. Well, that's good. Hopefully it'll catch it, not push it away. Or maybe it'll push it away. And it effectively makes, of course, the foot the horn, right? Let's see. I guess I could have clever chatter at this point. Just not that kind of maker. I think the one that the model that I did before, we actually put something all the way through and it grabbed the body, but let's see if I can get this to grab that horn. Doesn't want to. Just pushing it out. Maybe I'll try the other one. What could I be doing differently? Turn and look at the picture. Just really hard to get that screw to catch the horn just right. I'm glad I'm sharing my screen. You can't see like my tongue sticking out. But as I try to get this thing in here. So, and one of the things about Otto is they're trying to make it, you know, they sell a kit and they have instructional videos. But there's still a bit of unstandardizedness to it, you know, unstandardness, because it is all open source. So, for instance, I think I said, you know, we broke a foot, and I went to their Thingiverse site and let me just see if that's higher or lower than the hole. And then maybe I could just trim the horn. Oh. Or pre-do the hole. Right. Things are slowed to a crawl here. I think it's that hole. So let me just make that hole big enough. Take the screw. The design was different on the other one I did, which is makes everything challenging. All right. But anyway, yeah, so like they had a version 1 and a version 2, and we had ordered some pre-made kits. And then when I 3D printed, when I downloaded the file and 3D printed, the foot, it was a different size. And so then I ended up 3D printing this whole one. So we'd have a complete replacement. Is that not going through the hole? I'm exercising patience, but also open to suggestion. What's that? Hitting it. Just catch. All right.
Success.
Kind of success, yeah. Now it's a little bit off up here. Another doll.
Yeah, that looks like when you want the needle nose vice grips.
The needle. I don't think I have needle nose vice grips.
Just doesn't. No, just doesn't want to bite.
And that one goes in there, but now, yeah, I got to bite in the thing, but it doesn't now line up just right with the hole, which was a problem with the other ones.
Well, what I would wonder is if the threads are still bearing on your plastic foot, and that's not letting it bite into that white plastic part.
Well, I'll tell you the horn one does go in, but it doesn't have anything to catch on this side. So it went on and attaches the horn to the servo. Then the bottom one did go in and attach the horn, but now the little 3D printed space where the wider part of the horn goes is not allowing, it's not lined up just right. I might just have to modify my 3D print a little bit to allow that to snug in there. And I'm sorry, I thought I did that with a lot of the ones. I was telling Chris that my 3D printer doesn't make all the holes exactly round. So I'm just gonna open this space a little bit so that the little wide area of the horn will fit in there, up against there. We'll see if that'll, so far doing these little tiny adjustments haven't messed up the model. See, when it fits in there, then it doesn't line up with the bottom hole. But maybe we could work on this. Here's that doing the same thing over and over part that you read about.
I wonder, is there a way to come in at an angle with that screw? Because it seems like the center post is the most important thing to be aligned.
It is important for the center to be attached to the servo, but it's also very important for the, yeah, if it would do that, that would be ideal. I just am having trouble telling like which angle to cheat at. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Seems like one or the other would be.
Just looking at
Very
that
small holes. It doesn't give you much space to cheat. And when I do get it,
I would think that can't you drill the black 3D part out a little bigger so that screws a loose fit on the black part, but the threads are biting on the white arm.
Yeah.
I guess my concern is that your screw is bottoming it out in the black part before it's really fully bit into that white arm, and you can't really see if it's lining up correctly. If you can't see the screw holes lining up correctly, then again, you only get to drill it out once. And if that's wrong, you can't undrill it. Of course, you can get a bigger screw, but I think we're all discovering 3D printing is not as precise as we thought it might be.
It looks so precise in all those
It
toolkits.
looks perfect in the design, and then the plastic melts too quickly and it falls off.
yeah. All right, look, I'm going to try one more time here. Because it feels like it's catching, but it's not.
See, this is where Julia Child would already have another souffle.
Already
It's in the
made.
oven.
It's been in the oven.
Look in the oven.
Do a commercial break.
I have an Otto, but that's not the, yeah, it's not really the point of the build.
No, you're sharing the total experience of
The agony.
do a miss. Yeah.
I had it hooked in there once. I think I should have gone with that. What did I do? I could have at least had music playing. No, never mind. through my speakers, my Decatur Maker speakers.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I see what you mean now about the bottoming out, but so close. Oh, it's so close now. So close. I would say at this point, those directions are not going to help you. I'm going to stay in the picture. I made it farther last time. The other thing that you can do is when you put the foot on, I think I think when I looked at it, I think we may be able to modify it here. Let's try that. So we are going to want to share my screen again. Just what if we had it on there and that went okay? Because I think then we want to do is put the foot on, and it has to attach here to the legs. And it seems to me that's where the screws, that's when you want to do the screws. So let's see if we can oh, this is the one that goes all the way through. Let's see what happens if we can modify these screws when we attach it to the leg. And if not, I'll go back and suffer some more. So if it was in here, I guess I just didn't screw it on before because it does seem to fit, but when I practiced it, I didn't put the screws on. This again is the back with the holes. And in the picture, they put the foot out with the servo side towards the back. And so this little notch in there is the servo fits down in that little notch. You can see. And then on this back side of the foot, there's this little notch that fits down and secures the foot like that. And I wonder if I can get this, if that will help me align that horn so I can get the screw in. You know what I'm saying? Let's see.
No wumps. No wumps saying.
That's right. But that'll brace the horn there. The horn I was trying to brace. But it doesn't feel like it's catching it. I don't know if it is or not. I feel like it's not. It might have just pushed it away again. Nevertheless. Oh, that kind of works. I'm going to leave it like that as kind of working, and we'll see if it works. With the caveat that you'd probably want to drill that hole out and get the that horn screw secure, because you have a little rim around this, so you have a little play. You can make that hole a little bit bigger to hold the horn up against the foot. But one thing I did forget to do when I put the foot on, in all my excitement, was to run the servo wire up out of there. So,
Dope.
I know. Isn't this fun? What time is it? Oh, we're almost done. This is the hard part.
It's not as bad as putting a microphone cable together and soldering all the connections before you put the strain relief on. And then you get to take the whole thing apart again.
So they have the servos in the foot. He's out like that. He's like sitting in here. And the wire comes out. And you want to put it through. And there's a little, see if I can show you, a notch down there at the front. The front of the base of the foot. I'm doing it backwards, like, see, and it goes out through that notch and up into the body, which is where the it will attach to the controller. So all this has to be sort of just so. So I just turned that thing to the side so I could get it through there. And then it goes through another little, and it's hard to see through the black. There's another little slot there. And the servo connector goes up through there into the body. Push it through. La, 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 la. Oh, piece of cake. I got a little wiggle in it. Let's see if I can get that out. I think it'll work better if I could just smooth it out a little bit. There we go. All right, so now our servos are going to be up inside the body. And where's that foot again? Here was the foot. And this was like this. And that was up against there. And this servo fit down in that notch. And this wire poking up there for, all right. Slide down in there. And there our foot's on. Our shirt is on, that screw back in, even though I'm not 100% convinced of doing anything. Just so we can move on. And we'll use that again to brace that horn up against the foot. Might catch someday, might not. Anyway, it works. The wire's in there, and our leg moves freely. That wire in there, and then we go to the other leg. We do the same thing. Here's our other servo. We want to put. Oh, we got the horn on there already. I think that was loose though. Take our other foot, aim him out. Take our servo with the cut end down towards the back of the thing. Take our wire. Comes out around underneath here. So, from the front to the back, through that little slot at the top of the leg. Can you see him? He's going through that little slot. And then there's a little slot in the body that we want to slide that through. And it comes up here. Right. All right. That didn't look like faint. That didn't look like sleight of hand, did it, or anything?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's perfect.
All right. Great. Come on. Little guy, get in there. All right. And then a little The wires up there, little servo notches back there, and there's the little bump on the back of this foot. We're gonna catch the foot on, and this was really snug. That was the part that when the girls are code, that's the one, that's where the foot broke, trying to slide it over. And that was an older version of the robot. I don't know what'll happen here on this side, but we'll give it a shot. And he's on. All right. Now his little legs on. Good thing we didn't do the humanoid one where, see, he's got little legs and his little body. Here we go. All right. Moving on. And there may be a point at which we need to go. But I'm happy to put him together. So here we put him on there. And we put his feet on him. And we screwed something in. So they want to screw something in the base of this leg, and that is the other end of that servo. So one end's supposed to be screwed in, attached at that horn, and then there's a hole here. We're going to try and put the screwdriver through if I have my screwdrivers long enough, and I'll show you what that means. So, stop sharing. So, what that means is, remember when we put these servos in up here, there were two holes that hold the servo bases to this body. So in an effort to hold this other servo in, and this is what I was saying, servo does not sit anywhere near the right position for putting the hole in there. There is a hole here. I don't know if my screwdriver will go through it. But to hold this servo up against the leg. Let's see if the other side. I'm looking because I put the I put the servos in upside down. Sorry about that. But the hole, what I'm looking is the hole to hook it in is upside down. I'm not quite sure how I did that wrong, but let me see if it can be reversed. Probably because the foot, you work with the foot upside down, and I put it in a certain way. Maybe that was my whole problem with getting that everything on. No, that's the long end of the servo. It just doesn't fit in there right. Maybe it does.
Are the wires supposed to come out towards the bottom of the foot and then loop back up?
Well, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then it is right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't have my servo pushed up in there far enough.
I see.
Yeah, so let's see if I can.
That is tricky.
There's another little hole, and you're supposed to be able to get to it from this hole, which isn't really large enough to advance my screwdriver through it, but you can get to it from an angle. Let's see if I can show you what I'm doing. There, I'm going to try and attach this the base of the servo to the leg, and there's another little hole there for it to screw into, and that sort of steadies that servo a little bit. If I can get it to, it's doing the same thing with the where's my toolkit? See if I have something thin enough to. I don't think this is gonna go. Oh, please be in here, other screwdriver kit. Upstairs. Patience. I know. Should have been prepared. At this point, options include already leaving again to go up and try and get it. Or cramming the screwdriver through there. Oh, good option. All right. So with a little wheel, the screwdriver does fit through there. So snug in that little servo up against the leg, and that kind of will sit it kind of straight in here then. You know, I guess it could have been done with the foot on, but it wasn't, so put the foot back on. Let's see how that could be a problem now. This is probably where the foot broke before. Girls code. Really, really, really want to get that on. All right, put the screw back. The screw that may or may not be catching the horn. All right, get in there. Now that we can believe that this screw will go in, we will adjust this one as well. So there it is. We want to get that servo, slide up in there a bit, and then get screwdriver in there. Well, kind of. Yeah, patience. Okay. This is why I tend to work at home, so that my flailings aren't observed at the space.
We celebrate flailings, as you well know.
All right, look, that's screwing in. We are moving along. And that's hooked on, we think. And now our feet are hooked on. And our foot servos secured in some manner to the leg. Ta-da! More screen sharing. Oh, pick this one. Share. Several clicks. So there we are. There we put this screw in. Look, number 13. Now we get to move to the microcontroller. We hook it to this breakout board. All right, and then we plug all of our servos in, and they have them designated looking at the front of the robot as pin 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to do that right because they do all their example code and their blocky code based on this. This is a touch sensor, if you get it, which we're not going to use. We'll also hook an on-off switch to our battery controller, but over here there's a ground and a power in. So this is on the breakout board. I'll show you that in a minute, but I'm just showing you the picture. And then the ultrasound monitor we'll put here in the head, and there's also a little piezo alarm. And then they tell you exactly where to plug those in on the breakout. That they call it an I/O board too, and they have all the pins marked. So 2, 3, 4, 5 are the servos, and then 8 and 9 they use for the echo and the trig for the for the ultrasound, and this is for the piezo. So let me just scroll back up to where we were. We're gonna go for the microcontroller now, and I'll show you the Arduino board. So And the kit comes with all this stuff. And they designate front and back. On this one, they have written autodiy.com, so that's the back. And when you put stuff in, you'll want to remember that. Here's a little Arduino. It's an Arduino Nano board. And I think this is a clone board. It doesn't actually say Arduino. It's not made by Arduino. And as such, it probably has these CH40, I think they're CH40 drivers that you have to download if you're using Windows drivers, because they're not included in the Arduino software, because they don't use that chip. But the board is exactly the same, otherwise it's a clone. Then they have, this is they call it Arduino IO board. And what it does is it breaks out power and ground to each pin here. So there's 3 pins. For each pin, there's 3 pins. There's like the signal and power and ground for all of them. And over here, and it's for all of them. And then it can be powered separately. And then I soldered on here at the power and ground, the in and ground to hook the battery in. I soldered on just some little headers. I just did that modification because when we first made it, Bill Sandy did it to our board, so I thought it must work. And you want to put the Arduino in, and the correct orientation, it's programmed through a micro USB port, and you want that aimed in the same direction as the power. And I'll show you the why, but it fits in the head with openings out. So you want to sort of line that up with all these pins. And it should sit down in there. And you want to sit it down in there snugly. Try not to bend any of the pins when you put it in and out, if you have to take it out. And then this sits upside down in the head. All right. So after you put that together, they want you to hook your servos up. All right. And again, looking at this, they call this right and this left as in the picture. If you're looking at the smooth part, the front, let's see. Point is, that's the back. If you're looking at the front, that's still the back. If you're looking at the front, let me see how I can show it to you. So if you're looking at the front, I think that's correct. This would, if you're looking at someone, this would be their right, and this would be their right leg and this leg. And that's the way you look at Otto. Like if you're looking at X-ray, this is the right and this is the left. Although,
I was about to say it's like medical imaging.
Yes.
Well, what's the right side doing on the left?
If you're looking at someone, you're looking, and this would be their left leg. All right, I've got to turn them around because it's backwards on my screen. So, point is, and then
and you're mirrored.
Yeah, yeah, and then one of them's foot and one of them's leg, and they have that diagram where pin 2 is the left leg. And so you want to make sure you're getting not the foot, but the leg. And then you find pin 2, which is numbered on here. And ground, so the wire from the servo has the darker color is always the ground. And usually the lighter color is the signal, but they're in order. So it's usually the ground power signal. And they're marked on this I/O board as ground, volts, and S. GV and S. So you find pin 2, you get the ground on the ground, and you plug it in, and it slides right on there. And it's so easy to get these wrong or not slide them all the way down. But that is the left leg. And then beside the left leg is actually the right leg. You might not think that, but that's what their diagram is. So pin 3 is the right leg. So we'll put that down and make sure it's on there and all lined up. And this board, the Arduino Nano clone is maybe $3 or $4, and this board is maybe $3 or $4. So this is very inexpensive stuff. Then pin 4 is their left foot. So get that lined up. Power ground. Pin 4. And then, of course, then pin 5 is the right foot. So there, that's on. Those are hooked up. Next, they say upload code. I don't know what code they want you to upload. In their picture it says upload code because that's where it's going to be connected. Never mind. Talking to myself. So then the ultrasound, or the little distance detector device, has 4 pins off it, ground and power, and then there's a trig signal that sends out a signal, and the echo reads it, and that's how it can tell distance. And it comes with 4 little wires, which I'm just going to put these so that they're not specific colored, but so that the black one, the ground one, is at the one end, and then the other ones are just in order because these wires are connected. And they, oh, hey, they did not want to slide on. Ground. Oh, come on now. All right. There they go. And then they have a little picture in here where they show you where that goes. And that goes so that the ground and the echo, oh man. Oh, I'm going to show you it just to share. I'm gonna not share screen, but share, not share screen, but share scream. How's that? Here's the picture. Here's it is. So the ground and the echo, the one, these two beside each other. One goes here, and then that one goes there, and that one goes there. So anyway, the ground goes to on pin 8. The power, that's the red one. It's power. Goes on pin 9, and more importantly, 8 is the trig and 9 is the echo, which is really what you need to. Oh, it seems like you could put ground and power anyway, but anyway.
Just to be clear, Maureen,
yes?
The echo is an output signal to this unit, and the signal is input from this unit to the Arduino. Is that correct?
My understanding is that the echo,
that emits a signal from this device you hold in your hand.
right. The trig actually, it takes a signal from the Arduino, but it's generated somehow on the circuitry back here because it sends the trigger. It sends something out. Right, and then the echo reads it, and then the echo, what it reads, it sends to the Arduino.
Oh, my bad. So echo is a sensory signal that comes into the Arduino, and trig is a
somehow the Arduino tells it to. But I'm not sure about that now.
I didn't mean to inject confusion. Trig and echo. Oh, echo would be something bouncing back off of something. So right. Trig would be emitting something. Okay, yeah. I think I got it. Echo.
Yeah, I hope I didn't confuse you too much. And obviously this could be plugged in incorrectly easily. So 8 and 9, echo and trig. Get that to go on there. Is it all the way
I'm
down?
only confused because I got a C in trig. So
They have the power on, for whatever reason, 9, and the ground on 8, and I'm not sure why that is, but that's how they have it.
Well, help me out here. Is the voltage line is same voltage all the way across, right? Obviously, ground should be the same all the way across.
Yes, correct. That's why I was saying they have these here and here, but I don't know why.
Why would, yeah, why would the red not have gone
They
up
could
here?
both be side by side, maybe just for space, because it seems like you could connect the voltage here anywhere, right?
yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure. Probably not, because if you're sending voltage to these, you may not want to send to here. The voltage might be
If it's
specific to the pin.
yeah, if it's the same voltage, some of them are 5, some of them are 3, some of them are 9.
Oh.
Yeah, I think these are all on 5 volt off of the Arduino, but I could be wrong. They are either 5 or 3.3.
Yeah.
Other thing that they use is to make beeps and buzzes. Is a oh, I'm sharing the screen. Is a little piezo buzzer. This one, and it has a little positive and negative. And so we use these two, and by convention, we'll make the ground the darker one. And these two, they have plugged
And
in.
it literally does not matter, right?
Which is which? Correct. These wires, nothing different about
Shouldn't.
these wires except the color on the plastic. All right, and they have these on pin 13. And voltage. Oh, signal. It's not really. It's signal and ground, not ground and voltage. I apologize. The signal is at the pin. The pin puts out 5 volts. The reason the ultrasound actually needs to be hooked up to the power is that it actually has another chip in here. It has other chip in here that does calculations on the echo signal that gets back, and then it sends that to Arduino. All right, so we have our servos hooked up, we have our ultrasound hooked up, and we have our buzzer hooked up. And we could hook up our battery pack here, but I think we'll plunge forth. Now, so here's our head, and our ultrasound goes in here. So sometimes it can be tricky to put all this stuff in hooked up, but we're gonna try. And sometimes you have to rehook it back up. These fit nicely in there, make it look like eyes. And then when you put the board in, it actually just fits very snugly. You actually have to angle it a little bit. So that was just plastic. If you saw that fly off, it was just, you have to angle it so it gets up under the ultrasound board. And then it wants to sit so that the power and the programming port sit right up against it. And then there are actually a couple little pins and posts down in there it can sit on. And there are a couple of screws that we're going to want to screw it into to hold that board up against the head. So we'll try and do that. Let's see. Where did the screws come from, I wonder? Probably some of those servo screws. Or there's screws with the piezo too. Let's see. Let me hunt around. I have many screws. I'm going to count to 10 and then I'm going to go for the first ones I see. Doesn't need a big screw. So we'll try these. These are little sharp ones. Just want to hold the head in. Oh, guys, we are so close. So close. Assuming it works.
A true optimist.
Right. Let's put one more, at least one more. I think 4 of them go in there, but let's see. Well, I'm looking because I forgot to get batteries. I mean, I have them upstairs, but I will have to go up and get them. Is there a 4th hole there? Yes. But I could just power him with the computer, but it's not really set up for that. All right, so then here's his battery pack. If I'm going to use it, I have to go up and get the batteries. But I have hooked it up so that my battery goes to the switch. So I'll have an on and off, and I 3D printed a little cap for my switch because it wasn't really fitting right. So, and there's a space. When you get the kit, it all fits better, I think. There's a little space where this kind of snugs right down in there, and it actually has, you use one of the little horns and there's another screw and it holds that down. I think I'm not gonna worry about that right now. And then you can hook the battery pack to that little power and ground. If you can remember which is which. So I would highly recommend marking them because they're marked on the underside. But if, as I recall, the one on the end is the power. The things we tell ourselves to remember things. So I just put these little extensions on with the headers on the end so they can plug into that I/O board and put those little headers on the board because Bill did it. Because Bill did it, so I did it. And once you get all that in and your battery's on, then, oh, there's also a little space, a little hole for this piezo, and it sits right down in here so that when you're running a program that makes beeping noises, you can hear it. I think I did not dig it. I didn't round out this hole, so it might not fit. Thought it fit though. Right in that base. All right, then the idea is the battery pack fits in here, and you snug all these wires in here. Oh, spinning around. Snug his wires in. And he's all in there. And you make it fit. I think this has to go a certain way in order for the this battery pack really needs to sit down here in between these servos for the head to fit right. And it really kind of, it snugs all in there. It's always good. This is ultrasound things catching on the battery pack. That sometimes happens. Little head snugs down on there. And this lines up very, very well with this little power port. Let's see. And then let's see if I can get my computer to come over here. Then hook him up. Because my cords don't want to reach. Let's see what cord will reach. Yeah, sure. Could have figured this out beforehand too. What do you want? So, all right. Let's see if plugging them in will work. All right, I see a light on, and he's dancing. Let's see. There he goes. He's dancing.
Oh my God! Otto lives!
Let me, am I sharing? Let me change. I did do some pre-stuff. I did, see if you can see him dancing around. Oh, Otto. There he goes. I loaded, I think they have a dance sketch they do. And they make him dance. His little legs move. Let's see. Let me do this. I just want you to be able to enjoy the pool. Oh, there he goes. Oh, no. There he goes. Wait, buddy. Look at him go. Anyway, his feet are moving, his legs are moving. He's dancing. I'll show you Blocky just in 2 seconds. All right. So let me just literally show you the software that they make because it's pretty good, really. Auto Blocky. Okay. Can you see it? Is it backwards somehow? No, this is. All right. Can you see the Auto Blocky? You download their program, and they have. So if you do Arduino, they ask you to pick. You have to pick your board, and for this Nano old bootloader, this is the one that's used for the clone board, and you pick your port. I don't have him hooked into my computer right now, but you pick your COM port, and then they have in this program they have some examples where I think I loaded dance. So if we look at dance, this is block code. So but you can make it look like the Arduino code if you want. See, they define all the pins as the legs and do a setup and then a loop, and they have him walking back. But then you can go back to the block if you want to do code him with the block code, and then so in this one they have him. They're just running a loop, and he moves forward. And then they have all kinds of foot movements. So you can do a forward, backward, bend. That means, he does different things with his legs. He could tap his toe. Look, moonwalk, crossing, flapping. And then they have a speed. You can go really fast, really slow. One of the earlier things they did was he's choreographed to Smooth Criminal. And so a lot of people did a video. He plays Smooth Criminal, and he does his, he moonwalks. He does his Michael Jackson stuff all the time. So, and then they have the Auto Humanoid, which has arms. We're doing the basic Auto, but the Auto Humanoid has arms, so there's code for that. And then there's audio code. We can make him beep and stuff. I think, let's see. Avoid obstacles, uses the ultrasound, buzzer beeps. I don't really enjoy the buzzer beeping, but I'll see if I can see if I can upload something. So I'm plugging it into my computer, and let's see if it will recognize. See, it's not the problem that I have is with this port. I'll have to disconnect my my microphone, see if it'll. It's loud. Let's see, 0.4, and then it makes you check it. So I'm going to try to upload it. Oh, it did check. It used to, it stopped. It made you check it. It's their code, but it still does a check on it. You see that little circle is checking it? All right, come on. Then it's going to upload it. So now Otto quit dancing. I don't know if you could tell. He quit moving. Now he's playing. Can you hear him beeping?
Yes.
Oh, he's doing this. Whatever. Lost soul, whatever. What this is. He's doing this. How to? I guess you could. Know how you reset him. Anyway, that. Oh my goodness! That was it. It only took a long time to do it. To do little Otto. There he is. He worked. Yeah. Like I said, I 3D printed. My printer is very not. It's just. It's very. It's right here, and it's just a little Tronix XY, and it's not dialed in really with really tight things. So all my circles weren't that round, but you can modify it. You might have to modify it anyway, a little bit, and then you got to work with trying, how you want it to be. There is one you could put there. This bottom part, they print it a thinner, and then you put the LED matrix here, and then you make when he makes noises, or if he comes up to an obstacle. I mean, I didn't really show the code for the eyes. We could do something if people made them and we wanted to talk about coding it. We could. I bought some Bluetooth modules, but they're not the ones that they send in their kit, and I haven't been able to. I need to work with them and get those hooked up so I can use their Bluetooth app. And that's it. Any questions? Thanks for enduring that.
Maureen, it's amazing that in this one session you created a robot that with this Blockly stuff, you can actually. It's got all the elements that you need to tell it to do whatever you want it to do. So all of the loops, all of the variables, all of the logic that we saw in the Blockly example that you showed us, that's coding. I mean, it's a programming language. You could make this thing do like super complicated stuff that's only limited by the memory that's in the Arduino, which is actually, given its size, pretty massive. So it's just really exciting.
It's very cool. It's a robot. I mean, you make a robot.
For real?
2 hours. Yeah, you make a robot, and then you can and of course I didn't really do the battery pack, but it's can be free from this, and it's run on a battery, and so you could code it to go through a maze. You could code it to race another robot. You could have races with it. You can. Then there's the Bluetooth app, which is less coding, I think. So I'm not that like I want to play with it, but it's not the same as practicing coding, making the robot do whatever you want. Dance, go forward, turn around, beep. Yeah.
Put a high-powered laser on top, and you could put it in a robot war.
Well, I'll tell
It would
you.
require a lot of battery, though.
I tell you. Well, I'm not going to get it because my knee hurts and I don't want to hobble over there. But the makers have they have about 10 Adafruit, these round control boards, Circuit Playground Expresses, and they come with a breakout board. Well, they didn't come with, but we bought called a Cricket, but it's round. It's rounder. So I actually have 1,010 prototypes where I'm trying to develop the head so that the Cricket and the Adafruit Circuit Playground Express fit up in there, and you could use that, and then you can code that in whatever. Make code also as a block code, and Circuit Python. You could use Python. Anyway, but yeah, to what you were saying, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, the eye assembly gives some indication of distance to an object.
Yeah, the ultrasound signal, it sends a signal out and bounces off, so you can set it to, they have an avoid obstacle thing. So if it gets within whatever, 4 centimeters, it's usually, I think it's from 2 to 200 centimeters it can measure, and then you can set, so if it comes and gets too close, it stops. They have some sample code, but you can have it stop and turn, and then it goes until it hits a ball. Yeah, so that's what the ultrasound device is for. Yeah, like obstacle avoiding.
Yeah. So what it doesn't, it sounds like it doesn't have, but could have, would be a magnetic compass sensor.
Right. Yep.
To know I went 5 degrees this way, I hit an obstacle. I went 5 degrees that way, I hit an obstacle. And eventually you could, if you count the number of steps,
map the area,
know where you are.
You could spend hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I think a magnetic sensor wouldn't be that big of a deal. You just have to have magnetic variation for the area, right? Because true north here isn't true north. We're actually cocked towards magnetic north, but you can offset for that. It can't be that expensive if you have them in just every phone has a magnetic sensor.
Yeah, they so they have I don't know if you could tell, but there's a little square at the top of his head. So a lot of the kids have a touch sensor that they use for on and off. That fits up in that square. What else do they use? They put the LED, and then if he runs into something, his mouth makes a little oh, and then when he turns and he smiles and whatever he makes. They have expressions. And then there's one there, his mouth gets bigger and small, and it plays a tune and it sounds like he's whistling, and it's supposed to give the. Anyway, yeah, it's really, if you were interested and curious about robotics, it's a full robot with minimal components. There was a commercial product, I think it was called a Zowie or something. I think it was mostly in Europe that they got the idea from. It's kind of a mock-up of that. And then they made it very open source by using the Arduino, providing the code, and simplifying the kit. And providing the 3D files, so you don't even have to buy the robot from them.
So now, how rare is it that out of the box after 2 hours you build one and it works?
All the ones I've built work. They all, and the limiting step would be if the Arduino board was bad, really. But it's so simple. I mean, you just plug it in and plug the servos in. The first one we did, our legs were really wonky, and I didn't know anything about that aligning of the servos, really. I think we got kind of lucky. but our feet were never quite attached right. That's why I was telling Chris that a little hot glue at some of these servo places would be good. But this device, except for this one horn at the feet where I was having trouble, all the other ones are pretty locked in with the screws. This design, because they've modified a little bit. But yeah, they all run pretty easily. It's just the servos and the microcontroller.
Okay, but I guess you get the servos, you get the microcontroller from the same outfit, so you're not worried about them not lining up, not being compatible with each other.
Right, right. It uses, well, that's again the open source thing. That's the beauty of it. They use a real standard SR90 microcontroller, which I bought a bag of them, and so far they've all worked. Because I had some of this came from a kit, but like we have the first one we did, we have little Arduino Nano boards at the space in the eShop, and we just had to get that little breakout board, which again is like $4. Mm-hmm. And I bought like 3 of them, so then I had three of something I'd never heard of before. And I had a bunch of the ultrasound ones because we use it in our Arduino class. Some ultrasound things, the holes are like 10 millimeters apart and some are 11. So sometimes you have to sand out the eyes a little bit to get the 10 millimeter one to fit through if you have a 11 millimeter space. But I mean, that's like, half a millimeter on each side. You have to sand a little. But the components are, pretty standard. Yeah. And then the servos, these little S90 servos, I used them all up. Here's one I was making a little actuator. But they're pretty, this is a continuous motion. But anyway, they're pretty standard, and they typically will have the three wire prong with the connector, so they plug right into that breakout board.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a stepper servo? Does it know where its arm is?
I think it's a continuous motion one. This is SGR92R. I think it's a continuous motion one, because I was making this is completely unrelated, but I was making this actuator so I could open my dog's crate. The crate's in it through the garage, and there's a commercial product out there, but I was going to make this. I 3D printed an actuator. I looked up anyway, and but I never. Anyway. I'm just learning about servos and steppers. Servos and steppers are different, and so are DC motors. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, well, I would think that in true robotics, it's one. The arm has to know where it is, because how far it steps may be dependent on how much it's lifting. So you kind of have to have a feedback loop of knowing where you think the arm actually got. Whereas a stepper is just going to step X number of steps. It thinks it's going to move this far. But a stepper can get surprised if it hits resistance. It may not move. Or in your case, the horn may actually.
And then you're missing steps. That's right. But and I think the same thing can happen to these servos as well, and they can get out of whack too. But I think it's more mechanical than programming.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's the interaction between the two.
Mm-hmm. Are you motivated?
So it's autodiy.com if you're interested, and there's also, they have links on this Wiki Factory with, if I could find it, I would show you. I don't think I have it up, but they did a, if I could find it. Anyway, people have made modifications. So they made Ottos with wheels, And then they use either the TT motors, or they continuous motion servos, or let me see if I can find the page. I'm looking for it. But they have the humanoid, it has arms, and then they made the one that looks like the Maker robot. They're just people have just done an incredible thing, and they do a lot of the page is not just going to jump up to me, but maybe it will. Yeah, there you go. Let's see if it'll come up. Which one is it? This one. Oh, hey, look at this laser printed one with the little hat. And he's got eyebrows. This one has wheels over here, and no, that's it, no body. This one, I suppose that's some movie that I don't know.
It's a gonk droid.
Yes, Chris is there to. So here's a bunch of them. So they're also something that kids can modify. That was our intent with the Girls of Code. COVID knocked us out. I've seen one that looks like a minion. I don't know if it'll be on here, but people just, they actually had a design challenge that. Oh, look at this one, an alpaca. Where people, competed to see who could do the most creative one. And they originally, the first one we did, they packaged it with some PDFs that you can make with stickers and decorate it like superheroes and stuff. Here's the Maker one. So it looks like that Maker robot. Anyway, I'm just, this guy. So anyway, that's on their wiki. This one looks more, look, he's like open. He doesn't have a body. No, here's the minion. Anyway, I just want to show that, like, you could do anything you want. Well, that's what originally we had a thought that our Girls Maker Club could design their bodies and stuff. But they really, two of them got the robot. One of them got it completely together, almost ready to code, and the other one was almost there, but then something was reversed on it. So then one of them had missed we did over two of our sessions. She had missed the first one, so she got about halfway through. Anyway, that's it. I could talk all night.
I love it.
It's a curfew. I'm under curfew. I can't go anywhere.
We're locked in. Let the robots out. Let them out. That's not illegal. Maureen, thank you.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
thank you. It was great.
During that,
I love it.
appreciate you listening. Good night,
I hope to see all guys in person soon.
Yep.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
We'll see y'all.
Oh, I had my mic. All right, ending it.